Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Upgrading a Complete BMX Bike series, where the concept is pretty simple. Just like some people do whenever they start riding or come back into BMX, we started with a brand new complete bike and upgraded it one part at a time and rode it in between the upgrades. So we started with a brand new Fit PRK medium, then we upgraded the brake pads, the cranks, the fork, as well as put pegs on it. Now, this time, the comments voted, and we are going to be upgrading the handlebars after the last episode of working on this bike. We just cut the handlebars on this one, so we'll be upgrading the bars, probably cutting those to my specific width as well, and continuing the complete bike series. But I have something to add in here too, that if you stay to the end of this video, there's going to be a pretty awesome thing if you're interested in this bike. So let's go ahead and jump on over to this box that contains the handlebars that we are going to be upgrading and take a look at what we have. So inside this box that is way too big for my unboxing table and top-down camera, we have the handlebars. Let's just go ahead and open them up and explain a little bit of kind of the concept behind the upgrades for this as well. So basically what I did is that I gave Fit and S&M a list of options for different Fit and S&M parts that I would want to put on this for each category. And it looks like the bars that were selected from my bar options were the Fit Dugan Bars. So these are the Fit Dugan Bars. They're a pretty sweet logo on there. Fit sticker on here. These are 925 rised. They are 4Q baked, meaning that these are heat treated. They've got the knurling in them. And yeah, these I would say are a matte black finish. And to give you a little bit more details, let's jump on over to the existing bars on these. So before we keep talking about the Dugan bars, let's talk a little bit about the handlebars on this bike. For one, I haven't had any bending issues or anything like that. These are high tensile steel handlebars that came on them, so the fact that they've held up so far is great. But we're putting on full chromoly made in the USA handlebars that are heat treated. The geometry on these are that they come 29 inches wide. These are 925, and they are a 12-degree back sweep with a 1 degree of upsweep. And on that note, that means we are ready to go ahead and start the process of taking these off. Starting with taking out the bar ends that I'm hoping I can easily get out by hand. And if you've been following this series, you'll know that I'm putting the power of what I upgrade next on this bike in the hands of the people who leave comments. So the cranks were chosen first, then the forks, and then I kind of decided that I was just gonna put pegs on this thing so that I could do peg tricks on it as well. And I liked the idea that I was a little bit limited in that I didn't have pegs on it for a while, so I had to be creative. You know, I took it to the trails and did some stuff on it at the trails, but now we've got the pegs on it and the forks and the cranks. It's time to upgrade the next part on the front end of the bike, being the handlebars. And if you guys leave comments below letting me know what to upgrade next, after the next riding video with these, you'll see me upgrade with the most voted part. And it's fun for me doing this series because I just gave a list of options and didn't say exactly what I would want to put on there, and it's fun to not know what's coming and then open the box up and boom, there it is. So got the bar ends off. Now we're going to go ahead and take some rubbing alcohol, put it into the grips, get it to where things will come off a little bit easier, and then get these grips off so we can remove brake lever and then take off top cap of the stem and start swap these things out. Rubbing alcohol is such an easy way to take grips off and put grips back on and have them rideable in a quick amount of time when you don't have access to an air compressor. Like I don't have access to an air compressor at the moment. There we go. Boom. Demonstrate once more. Oops. Luckily, it's rubbing alcohol. That'll dry up really quick. Boom. Pretty simple. Way easier to do than if you were just gonna try taking them off yourself, like without anything. So now, take off the lever. One consideration that I do have for this is the length of these gyro cables. I hope it'll be okay once I cut the bars down to 27.5. So they are 29 inches wide, so I'm gonna cut those down to 27.5, which is what I have on my everyday ride. And we'll get those matching up. Gotta take off the gyro cable just so that we can easily get this lever off. Okay. And one thing you may find if you have a lever that doesn't use a hinge is that you can open that gap up a little bit. I just did it with an Allen wrench and it comes off way easier. And now we can just take off the bars. Once again, super simple, just loosening up all of the stem bolts, taking them all the way out so we can get the new bars in. With these bars being a bit taller than these ones, I think this bike is gonna be a bit more comfortable for me because I'm used to 9.5-inch rise bars. So we're getting even closer into what I'm used to regularly. But it has been really fun riding this bike and kind of just seeing the differences in having a 20.5-inch top tube, having a 12.6 rear end, much steeper head tube, and it's just been fun little experiment seeing how this bike holds up to my riding. And while we keep just taking this stuff off and there's absolutely no time lapse, I'll tell you too that my buddy Dustin had rode the Fit Metal Eagle Complete for months into his just journey of learning to ride BMX again after taking a bunch of time off. He learned a bunch of tricks on it, jumped some big trails on that bike, cased a lot, put it through a lot, and it was totally fine. So it's pretty cool. These complete bikes hold up the way that they do. And if you forgot, you're gonna wanna stay to the end of this one. Another thing about these bars right here is that they weigh 2.3 pounds. I don't know how much these ones weigh, but high tensile steel is sometimes a little bit heavier than chromoly. So I'd imagine these might be lighter. And with that, we can just go ahead and grab our top cap of our stem. Make sure it's facing the right direction and put it on. I think it's supposed to go so it faces outward. When it comes to tightening handlebars on, I always like to talk about the process of things as I'm doing it, just so that it can help anyone who might need reminded. You're tightening these down and you want to make sure you center the knurling in the stem itself. So with this one, the knurling is a little bit wider than the cap of the stem. So I can just make sure that I put the same amount of knurling on each side of the cap to make sure that it's perfectly centered in there. And when it comes to tightening, you don't want to tighten one of these down all of the way, all at one time. You want to gradually go around and tighten all of them the same amount each time once you get it kind of snugged up here, and you want to go in a alternating pattern. So let's say, for instance, we start back here. That means we tighten this one down a bit, then we go directly diagonal to the opposite corner, tighten it down, then we come across to the front, tighten it down, and then we tighten a back across diagonally again, tighten that back corner down. And that successfully puts your bars way too far forward and you have to loosen it up a little bit in order to bring them back. And because these bars are a bit different than the ones that were on it and they're taller, I'm not 100% sure on where I want to actually put the mats deepness wise in the angle in relation to the bar or the stem and the fork. A lot of people will line up their bars in the same plane as their forks. I don't usually do that. I do a little bit further forward, but we'll save the final adjustments for the first time I go to ride this thing. I'm not sure if you guys will fully be able to see that, but the angle is close. Just tighten these down. Now we're ready to start cutting these things before I put the brake lever on or anything like that. So these are 29 inches wide, meaning to get to 27 and a half, we have to cut off 1.5 inches, which means 3/4 of an inch on each side. If you want the in-depth, you can watch my previous video where I showed it in depth and talked through everything. For now, I'm gonna kind of work my way through this a little bit quicker since my very last working on this bike video was showing this exact same process. Where it needs to be, and just go ahead and go to town and start cutting. If you're going to be cutting bars this way, you definitely want to take a file to that cut. Is it just me, or have I gotten further away? Boom, 27 and a half, exactly. So now I can grab my brake lever, toss it back on here, make sure it's on the right side. Bring it in here. We also can, at this point, grab our grip. So some of that rubbing alcohol is still left behind. And we got that on there, so we can toss the bar end in, which went in way easier than I thought it would have. I'm gonna probably have to compress this grip a little bit because it seems to be a longer grip. And oops, I definitely don't think I want my brake lever on the bend like that. So I think my next upgrade may have to be some grips, because moving this back over, you could see it's bunching up the grip a little bit. That feels good. I can go ahead and see how my brake cable is gonna go. Seems like it's gonna be just fine. So we'll reinstall the brake cable here. All right, got that reinstalled. We can do an adjustment. There we go, that feels dialed. So next, last grip. Let's hope this one goes on just as easily. Yep. Telling you, the rubbing alcohol just works. I had so much on there from taking them off that it just kind of went on there. Okay, I figured I might as well just do this on camera as well. And we are almost to the part of the video where I tell you guys about the awesome thing that I told you would be at the end of the video. So stay tuned. Solid. Or I can be a psycho about it, like I am. Okay, so I might be a little crazy, but I feel like that just looks way better. I cut the end off of the piece that I cut off so that it has an end on it now. And I think it just looks cleaner and better. And there we go. Fit Dugan Bars on the Fit PRK medium. And the very exciting, huge thing that I was talking about at the beginning of the video, which the title probably already ruined, is that if you like what you've seen in this series so far with the Fit PRK medium, for the next 24 hours, you can get 50% off of this bike from Fit's website using the code BRANTPRK. 50% off this brand new bike as a complete, not with the upgraded parts that I've already put on it, just the complete bike for half off. BRANTPRK. And if you guys are enjoying this complete bike upgrade series. Let me know in the comments down below. I'm gonna ride this thing next, and then after that, you guys are gonna have to let me know what to upgrade on it, and I'm excited for that. Stem, something to do with the wheels maybe even, seat, pedals, sprocket. Let me know in the comments. Pick yourself up one of these bikes if you like what you've seen so far. BRANTPRK, and we'll see you tomorrow for another video. Thanks for watching. Big shout outs to Fit and S&M for making this happen. Thank you to them, and we'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.